Good morning, kids. Right now, I want to show you how it looks with the Montessori fraction materials here to multiply a fraction by a whole number. And the reason I'm doing this is because fractions times fractions gets really interesting, decimals times decimals. I'm always amazed by the fact that when you multiply anything by a fraction or a decimal, it gets smaller. And one of my things is I want to know how to teach this. How do you teach this? And the Montessori materials are a great way to do that. But before I do, I want to show you what it looks like when you multiply a fraction by a whole number, because that's going to make a lot of sense, and hopefully this will move into multiplying fractions by fractions in the next video. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to write down a problem that we are going to solve. Let's do 1/3 times 5. So there you have it, 1/3 times 5. Now, most of you know that any number, whole number, you can turn into a fraction by putting a denominator of 1 underneath. So 1/3 times 5 is actually the same as 1/3 times 5 over 1, because that fraction symbol is a division symbol. So 5 divided by 1 is still 5. So 1/3 times 5 is going to be my problem. I'm going to show you how that looks. Okay. All right, here we go. So first I'm going to get my 1/3 pieces here. And I have 1/3, but I need 5 sets of those. So that is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we've got those fractions, and now let's see what all of this adds up to. What I'm going to do is a little bit different. I'm going to go ahead and use more of the third insets to show you actually what 1/3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times looks like. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right there. So what we've got is 1/3 times 5 literally gives us 1, 2, 3/3, which is a whole, 1, and then 1 2/3. 1 and 2/3. How did I get that? Well, when you multiply fractions, the denominator multiplies by the denominator and the numerator multiplies by the numerator, and that's what you get, because 1/3 times 5 gives us 5/3. And 5/3 is in fact the same as 1 whole and then another 2/3. So 1/3 times 5 is 5/3, or 1 and 2/3. So that's a very basic problem that you can do with the fraction pieces. Let me do another one here. So let's move this one out of the way. Let's do another one. Let me hold this up one more time for you guys to see. 5/3 is the same as 1 and 2/3. All right, the next problem we're going to do will be 2/9 times 10. So this is going to be our problem, 2/9 times 10. And I got to get my ninths out. Let's set up our ninths. So I got a ninth, but 2/9. So 2/9. Okay. 2/9. 2/9. 2/9. Let's do sets of 5 here. Another one. 2/9. Oh wow. interesting. All right. So there we have it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have 10 sets of 2/9. So what is this going to equal over here? Well, let's hope I have enough. It's always an adventure doing fractions with Adam. All right, so let's do it. 1, 2, that's a set. There's another one. Here's a third set. 2/9. Here's a fourth set. Here's a fifth set. So that's 10/9. So we're halfway there. Oof. One, another 2/9. That's 2 sets of 2/9. Let's keep that one there. Keeping these guys together is tough. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and another 5. And there we have it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Another way I can do that is saying, well, 2/9 I have 10 sets of 2/9, but of the 1/9 I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So I should have 20 1/9 pieces here. So let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yes, so just double checking my work there a little bit. Looks like 2/9 times 10 gives me, oh, that's a 10th. Oh, dear Lord, can't have that. It's gone rogue. We got another one. We got these 10ths that are trying to get in here. Cannot do that, 10ths. Cannot do that. There we go. All right, didn't even see that. Wow, those guys are like ninjas. All right, so now 2/9 times 10 is going to give me 2 and then 2/9. Well, let's check. I wrote 2 and 2/9 down there. Let's do what we did before. 2/9 times 10 over 1 gives me 20/9. That's my improper fraction. How many times does 9 go into 20? Twice. And that gives me, after it goes in twice, that leaves me with 2/9. So yes, in fact, 2/9 times 10 is 2 and 2/9. So I have 2 wholes and then 2/9 remaining. So that is another example. I'll do one more for you. This is kind of fun. That was an adventure. I didn't know if I was going to have enough 9s, but I did, even though those 10ths tried to get in there. Those 10ths went rogue. What are you going to do? All right. So yeah, this fraction times a whole number thing is really fun. I kind of like this one a lot. Very, very visual. You can really tell when you multiply and how it's going to look. So let's do one more. Let's do 4/7 times 4. So we got 4/7 times 4. All right, let's take a look. Let's take my 7ths, set up my 4/7. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4/7 is kind of cool. It's like slightly over half. Another one. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4/7. Another one. 1, 2, 3. 8. 4. Okay. And one more. 1, 2, 4/7. So 1, 2, 3. So this is 4/7 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So now let's see what that translates to over here. So I'm going to set up a seventh. Turn it into 4/7 here. So there's 4/7. There's 1. Here's another one. Okay, you see that? What I'm going to do is I'm going to push this over here to make holes out of it. It looks like, so that's 2/7. Let's set up our last two. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I have one more seventh, or one more set of 4/7. Sorry. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. But I'm going to set that over here to form a hole. 1, 2 of those. Looks like 3 of those guys are going to fit in there. So it looks like 4/7 times 4 gives me 2 and 2/7. Let's put that at the bottom. And let's see how this looks. So 2 and 2/7. 4/7 times 4 is the same as 4/7 times 4 over 1. Gives me 16/7. Because remember, when in multiplying fractions, you just multiply the numerator and multiply the denominator. And so 16/7, 7 goes into 16 twice, leaving me with 2/7 left over. So there you have it. I have 2 and 2/7 multiplying 4/7 4 times. So I've got a set of 4/7, another one, another one, another one. And then I get a total of 16/7, and that gives me 2 and 2/7. So we are very happy multiplying whole numbers and fractions. And that was just a very short introduction to multiplying whole numbers by fractions. It's going to get really interesting when we start doing fractions times fractions, but I wanted to show you that whole numbers times fractions. It's really visually appealing, and it can teach you how multiplying fractions works. So thank you for listening, and I'm going to get to the next video here on multiplying a fraction times a fraction. So that should be interesting and fun too. Bye.